Don't fool with us. All right, let's see. Why don't we do this? Why don't all of you three get at that table with, I tell you what, y'all two at this table, come on over here to this table. Do this. What is your first name?
Amanda.
Amanda,
Yes,
where
sir.
are you from?
DeRitter.
Okay, what you been using?
Heroin, Dilaudid, and meth.
What's your favorite?
Heroin.
I put every drug on known to mankind on the table, and I told you could go up there and pick your favorite one.
Heroin.
Okay, how?
Shooting it.
IV in it?
Yes, sir.
Where'd you go to medical school?
My friend's bedroom. My friend's bedroom.
You ever been to treatment?
No, sir, I haven't.
How long you been shooting dope?
Since I was 16.
Well, that don't tell me nothing because I don't know how old.
41. I'm not good at math. Since I
But
was
you can sure get those milliliters right. So no treatment.
No, sir.
Why are you here? What happened?
Um,
Something happened.
for the past year, I have two, a 4 and a 5-year-old, but for some reason, instead of getting better, I've been getting extremely worse. Using way more, shooting. I went back to shooting. I stopped for a little bit.
Where are the kids now?
They're with my parents. I've lived with my parents for the past 5 years, and I have like they're very good about watching my kids and stuff. And
Okay.
my parents are both very in the know about my addiction, and so I think that's a big thing. Is I don't know why I want to get better so bad. Especially since my kids, I look at them and I feel horrible, but I don't get better. I get worse. I don't know why.
Well, that's because you keep trying to solve a problem. You don't know what the problem is. Do you want some help?
I do. This is the first time I've ever, I do.
You nervous?
I am. Well,
Why?
I don't know. I don't know.
You don't have to be nervous. What's your first name?
Ashley.
Ashley, where are you from?
I'm from Florida.
You sort of look like it. You don't strike me as one from Louisiana.
I'm not,
Yeah.
but
What
I've
part
lived
of Florida?
Gainesville.
Okay. What you been using?
Methamphetamine.
How?
I shoot it intravenously and
Okay. Where'd you go to medical school?
Marvin's on Lion Street in Springfield, Missouri.
How many times you been to treatment?
This is my first time.
Okay. Why are you here?
Well, I come here because I want help. And I've never been able to do it on my own. I didn't know what to do.
If people could, like me and you could do it on their own, there wouldn't be no treatment center.
Exactly.
There'd be no such thing as Alcoholics Anonymous.
I didn't know this existed.
Yeah. Well, knowing it exists and coming can be a blessing or it can be a curse.
Yeah. Well, I went to a sober living for a night, and they made me take a drug test and told me I had to come to treatment. So I come here not knowing what it would be.
Where'd you go to sober living?
I'm not sure of the location. I wasn't able to pay attention
Okay.
on the way there.
Okay. You want some help?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I have 2 kids, and my main priority is to get back into their
Well,
lives.
well, let me tell you something. If your kids were the driving force,
They weren't at first.
no, let me
Okay.
finish. If they were the driving force and they are the driving force, this won't work.
Not exactly. I have other reasons
You know,
too.
you have to do this because you want some help.
Yeah.
And if you really want some help, then a lot of people beside you will be helped.
Right.
But if you do it for them, it won't work.
No, of course not. I want to do this, and I know I want to do it for
Do
me
you have any idea why you're sitting where you're sitting?
because of God. That's my,
Well,
well, I mean, that's why I'm
let me
here.
see if, you seem to be one that has to be real specific. when
Yes.
Questions asked.
Always.
Everybody ever tell you give an aspirin a headache?
I've been told many things.
Yeah. So what drove you up in here from the time you started using till you walked in the door? What do you think drove you up in here?
Because now I'm confused. What drove me up in here?
There's nothing new then, because you've been confused.
Hmm.
Anybody sticking illegal substances in their arms confused.
I am still
Now,
trying to work
every
everything out.
time you get backed in a corner by the legal system, finances, your family, work, friends, anytime you get backed in a corner, what's the one thing that comes to your mind that you need to quit doing?
Running away.
Drugs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because that's what you think it is. And I'm telling you, that's not why you're sitting here. Now, are drugs a problem for you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Are they the root of your trouble? I know so. And every time you try to quit, which has been a bunch of times, do you keep doing? How many times have you quit?
I've,
Today would be a good time to answer that. How many times have you quit?
how many times have I quit?
Watch. How many times have you quit?
I can remember if you give me the time to think.
But we don't, we got other people.
I'm gonna say about 5 times.
I would say about 1,000.
Yeah, every time.
Because every time that you start and you pass out at night, you quit.
That's true.
I know, that's why I was at it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So have you quit thousands of times?
Yeah.
And every time you quit, what do? You start again. Every time. So I would say you don't really have a quitting problem. I would say you have a starting problem. Because every time you quit, you start. Now, if you'd quit starting, guess what you wouldn't have to do?
Quit.
That's right.
Okay.
You're a pretty sharp old gal, ain't you? Now, simple shit like that just goes right over your head.
It does.
That's what I just said. You want some help?
Yes, sir.
You got it. First name. Tell me where you from. Albany? Okay. You grew up in Albany? You went to school in Albany? What you use? How? Okay. You ever been to treatment? When did you go there? Okay. And you left or they put you out? What? Take care of your baby. Okay. And that one. Well, yeah, because you ain't been taking care of them in a while. How long you been doing pills? Yeah. Physically, you may have been there, but spiritually and emotionally and mentally, you ain't been there. You know the best gift you could give them? Well, I don't know about sober, changing. That would be the best gift you could give those kids. How many you got? Okay. Do you want some help? Okay. You ain't gotta serve me. I put my pants on just like you. Which you can't break a bunch of them. And so the only time you've ever been to treatment was for a week? Okay. All right. Did you go to any of the educations? Okay. Did they beaming us in there or it was Corey? Okay. Okay. What's your name? Haley, where are you from? Where? What part?
I was born at the Old General, but I grew up all over the United.
Okay. What you been using?
I went to detox for Mojo heroin.
Oh, general hair. Why you smoking that?
The only thing that's today.
Shit, I've been around some shit that do a better job than Mojo.
That was my thing, honestly. I started when I was in middle school, and I got clean.
What was that, last week? How old are you, about 9?
I'm 18.
Huh?
I'm 18.
Same thing.
Yes, sir.
18 and 9 are the same exact thing. Do you want some help?
Yes, sir.
Do you?
Yes, sir.
Have you ever been to treatment?
I have 3 other times as a minor.
Where'd you go?
I
Where'd
went.
you go first time?
The first time I went to the Odyssey House in New Orleans.
Second time?
I went to a place in Pineville. I forgot the name of it, and
Third
then
time.
I went back to the Odyssey House in New Orleans.
So how many treatments have you had as a legal adult?
This is my first one.
I didn't say a physical adult, I said a legal adult. This is the first one?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you want to change? Okay. If you do, and that's really true, you have struck the mother lode. But have you ever heard the old saying, you can't bullshit a bullshitter? Huh?
Yes, sir.
What's wrong? Why are you crying? I ain't even got started yet. Why you
When she mentioned the kids, it just made me thought about my mother.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, let me tell you something about the past, okay? If you could go back and change the past, and some other people could too, they probably would,
Mm-hmm.
but you can't. And if you keep bringing your past into your present, it's gonna become your future. So when I tell people this, they think it's because I'm uncaring, but it's actually the complete opposite. No, it's the truth. You know, you gotta move on.
Of course.
If you don't, your past becomes your present, and your present becomes your future, and nothing changes. You ever saw a bumper sticker that says shit happens?
No, I haven't.
Well, shit happens in life, and it's how you deal with it that the quality of your life's based on. And a lot of people just play the victim the whole time.
I know. My mother did for a long time.
Well, I would suspect that you have too.
I did.
But you take the same energy and the same effort and be the victor. So do you want some help?
I do.
Okay, we're gonna find out.
Yes, sir.
Who's finished their 4th step? Huh? Who's coming up on a 5th step? Where are you at?
I'm still working on my 4th step, but I'm gonna have it done by tomorrow. Hopefully tonight.
All right, but who's the house, the community leader?
Laura left today.
Okay, so y'all don't have one.
Yes.
Okay. Make no mistake about it. Make no mistake about it. There was no sleeping in AA meetings. Never, ever, ever. And if I find out you're sleeping in one of my meetings, you're not gonna like it. Now, be honest, fell asleep in the meeting?
I fell asleep one time.
Okay.
I did.
Don't ever, never, ever do that again. I guarantee you, if the dope man was a calling, you would not fall asleep. It's disrespectful to the other ladies in here who are trying. Do not do that. You know better. You know better. Now, whenever you go into an AA meeting, okay, there's AA etiquette, okay? And AA etiquette means when somebody's sharing, shut your mouth. Shut your mouth. There's no crosstalk. There's no comments. Don't say. Now, have you noticed somebody doing that? Who?
Everybody. They all do it in here.
Yeah. There's no cross-talking in Alcoholics Anonymous. Now, how many of y'all know the difference between an AA meeting and group? In group, guess what y'all can do? That's right. AA meetings in the morning, in the afternoon, at night are not, and as long as I'm here, never will be, group therapy. They're called AA meetings. Now, if you're asked to be the community leader, you have to know how to run a meeting. And if somebody gets out of line and you're the community leader, you have to real nicely say, hey, we don't do that here. And if they don't listen, you come let us know. And I promise you, I will take care of it. I promise you I will. All right. So you've been around some AA meetings before, right? Are you sharing in meetings? Okay. Why the first time? You probably have a lot to share.
I was nervous with new people around and,
Well, let me ask you this.
scared.
The first time you ever used dope, was there new people around?
Well, yeah.
Yeah. Did it keep you from using dope?
No.
It shouldn't keep you from sharing. So the night meetings, the ladies that are coming in, how are they going?
Good. They have a lot to share and say.
Really good.
Okay.
Inspirational stuff they say.
How are they going?
They're good. There's crosstalk during the night meetings and stuff. They are pretty.
There's
Sometimes
no,
we get really embarrassed. Sometimes. And
what?
I don't know. Just,
Yeah, you do. You just said it.
I know because just people will crosstalk and it just won't be organized like it's supposed to be.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
That's what we need to know. There's only one way we can solve it, and that's if we know. Now, you've been around this long enough where you know what's right and what's wrong. Right? Have you ever said anything? So is that a yes or a no?
Yeah.
To who? What? Hey, this ain't jail. This is treatment. To who did you say something to?
I don't remember now. God. They might not even be here anymore. No, they're not.
What'd you say? Quit fooling with your hair. What'd you say?
Nervous. Courtney. It was Courtney.
I can't make you nervous. Why are you blaming that on me? Look, it's important that the AA meetings are done and done the correct way. Because a lot of y'all really need that. You all right? Huh? Y'all open y'all's big books. What was you gonna say?
This has already been addressed, but I was gonna say, like, whenever we read like how it works and stuff, just the chanting, like, it was, I think the girls might have left already, but saying like, describe that shit, like, that is disrespectful to me, like, I felt like.
I've done said something about that, Shelby.
Yeah.
Stop.
Yeah, it hasn't happened yet.
Listen to me. The only thing that y'all should be saying is when how it works is read. When they say one, I want everybody going one. I want everybody going two.
3.
And that's the only thing. All that other stuff is nonsense. Okay? All right? All right. Now, when we get out of here today, they're gonna appoint one of y'all, I don't know who, the community leader, okay? And we really need you to step up, okay? It may be any one of y'all, okay? It might be you. Hell, it might be the young lady back there who's turning around. It might be you. It might be you. And I know y'all think I'm crazy. It might be you. I don't know. It might be you. All right. Whenever you use drugs, okay, you injected them, right? If you had 10 rigs ready to go, could you do one today? Well, wait a minute. Let's don't. Just think of what you're going to listen to what I'm asking you. Could you do one today? Put 9 of them in the refrigerator. Come back next month and do a second one. Leave 8 of them in the refrigerator. And do that every day till they were all gone. Well, what would happen if you shot the first one? What would you want?
As soon as that rush wore off, I would want the other one immediately.
And
Then another and another.
And then?
And another.
so once you start, you have no control
It's impossible.
over how much you're gonna shoot. Now, have you ever tried to stay sober?
No,
See, I don't believe that.
I,
The thoughts crossed your mind
well, I
numerous.
want to, I want to.
Wait a
but I
minute,
don't
slow down.
want to.
Take a deep breath, slow down. The thoughts crossed your mind thousands of times. What you're doing is killing you and everybody around you. So right then tells me you've tried and thought about quitting. You just know you can't. Stay quit. So a lot of people who know they can't stay quit, they just say, I've never tried. How many of y'all, once you start, take that off your head, please. Once you start, you have no control over how much you're going to use. And once you finish using, all you think about is using again. So if you can't stay stopped and you can't control how much you're going to use once you start, you have what they call some issues. They call it a problem. Now, how many times have you been through treatment and heard us explain about the obsession and the allergy? How many times?
A few.
A few thousand. Yeah. How many times have you heard it?
A good bit.
How many times have you heard it? No, not just today. Yeah. How many times have you heard it? Yeah. Look, just because you can repeat verbiage, it means one thing. You can repeat verbiage. And that will do you absolutely not a bit of good in this. You've got to be able to put some pieces to the puzzle together. Now, how many of y'all in here, you've been here enough, you've heard it enough where you could probably get up here and attempt to do some education? I know some of y'all think y'all could, And I would just love to sit back there where you're at and watch you one day. Now, step one. Step one is the foundation of the whole program. What you do or don't do in this program is going to hinge on how well you take step one. Now, I don't want you to write nothing down. I want you to listen to that. I want you to act like you're interested. You okay?
Yes.
Huh?
Yes.
What's wrong with you?
Nothing.
Okay. Boy, you sure can't turn it on and off quick.
I was kind of tuned out for 1 second. I'm sorry. That's why I'm back from.
Okay, that's scary. How many of y'all, you laugh at stuff like that? So what that proves is you can have fun and smile. So, yeah, that's what that means. Now, step one is a problem statement. And they explain to you the problem when it comes to your use. Now, you said you were using what?
Thank you.
What's your favorite?
All of them.
No, if I told you, look, go to that table.
Roxy.
Okay, I knew we'd get that. Now, if you had 10 Roxys ready to go, you were snorting them, right?
Yes, sir.
And you had 20 lines big as my middle finger. Ready to go. Could you snort a quarter? Put the plate in the refrigerator, come back next week and do another little quarter. And do that every week until it's all gone.
No, sir.
What would happen if you snorted the first little quarter? Would you set off something in your body physically called the allergy? And would that allergy produce a physical craving? Now, how many of y'all, every time you dump the first one in your body, you set the craving off? So every time you put the first one in, it equals 1 unit of craving. Now, once you put the first one in, the body takes over. And the body tells your mind, hey, I need
Some more.
a second one. Now, when you put the second one in, the craving doubles. Now your body says, hey, I really need the third one. Once you dump the third one in, the craving triples. So now you got to put the fourth one in. Now the craving has quadrupled. So you actually crave more after the 20th one than you did after
The first.
Now, this physical part, if you got it, you got it. It actually gets worse. That's why what you told me, I've heard it thousands of times. It actually gets worse. Now, how many of y'all, this thing between your ears called the obsession is what actually keeps getting you? Now, they ain't coming for you. Y'all get real nervous when y'all hear a siren. Now, this first one, I used to too. This first one that sets everything in motion. Now, I want you to think about this. The first one, is it an act of the mind or the body?
Body.
The first one's an act of the mind. Now, once you put the first one in, this goes away for the moment. Now, the second one on is an act of the body. The second, the third, the 20th one's an act of the body. The first one, which sets everything in gear, is an act of the mind. Now, if you never take this first one, would you set this circus off in your life?
No.
Now, why is it you put the first one in? The mind or the body?
The mind.
Now, how many of y'all have come up off some bad sprees before? The DWIs, financial, the family. How many of y'all come off bad sprees and you said, man, look, I'm done. I'm done. I got to take care of the kids. I got to be a mother. I can't do this anymore. And you mean it. Now, what you're trying to do is something humanly impossible. Do you know what you're trying to do when you say I'm done? Just yes or no?
I'm trying to quit.
No, you already quit
Well,
when
I'm
you
trying not
say,
to start again.
okay, so when you say, I'm done, I'll never do that again. You're trying to do something humanly impossible. Do you know what that is? See, what you're trying to do when you say, I'm done, you're trying to remove, and you can't. That's why when you say, I'll never do it again, you always do it again. You're trying to do something you don't have the power to do. Look, how many of y'all in here right now, if you could have stopped it, you would have did it years ago. You wouldn't even be in this predicament. We wouldn't have treatment centers and we wouldn't have AA. But anytime somebody like me says, I'm done, and I ain't never picking that shit up again, they're trying to do something humanly impossible. Look, you can sit through all of these you want. If you don't do something while you're here, you're going to leave with the same thing you walked in with, which is the obsession and the allergy. Now, if you do something while you're here, you're going to walk out with only one thing you came with, and that would be, and this right here becomes a moot point if you don't have that. If you didn't have the obsession to put the first one in, guess what you would never do? Yeah. And if you never do the first one, would you set this off in your body? Look, this shit is so simple that over 3 million of us have recovered from it. That's how simple it is.
There's Logan's bag over there.
I think I'm okay. I'm okay.
Yeah, sit down. Sit
I'm
down.
okay. I just didn't want to feel something.
Yeah, don't do that anymore.
I'm sorry.
Now, how many of y'all in, back up here. She's okay. Back up
I'm
here.
all right.
How many of y'all, every time you say, I'll never do that again, you mean it? I promise you mean it. And when you say, I'll never do that again, you're thinking about those kids, huh? You're thinking about your freedom, huh? Now, when you say, I'll never do that again, you can see the truth plain and, hey, get up and go over there to the nurse's station. Tell them I sent you over
I'm
there.
sorry.
Don't be sorry, just go on over there. Now, back up here, back up here. How many of y'all, back up here? When y'all say, I'll never do that again, how many of y'all can see it plain and simple? What's fixing to happen if you use again? That's why you say, I'll never do it again.
And still do it.
Now, right when you say, I'll never do it again, can you see the truth? Think about what I'm asking you. Can you see the truth?
No.
Yes, that's why you say,
You're not gonna.
I'll never do it
Again.
again. Now, what you can see real clearly at that moment, when this starts to come back and work on you again, does it push the truth out? And it starts telling you shit like, hey, this time it'll be different. I'm only gonna do a couple. Nobody will find out. It'll be different this time. And as you keep living in your own skin sober, this gets worse and then it says, hey, you need some relief. Which at this point, you probably do. So you reach over and you put the first one in because of the man. Now, once you put the first one in, does this go away for the moment? But now it becomes physical, and you couldn't stop if you wanted to at that point. Now, the crux of the problem, does it center in your mind or your body? In the mind. Every time that you decide to put the first one in, it's an act of
Your
the
mind.
mind. Now, if they had a stove sitting up here and they had a hot flame burning, and I put my right hand on it, what would it do?
Yeah.
Burn the shit out of me. Now, would I go like this? Look,
No.
because when I put my right hand on it, that flame burnt me and it restored me to sanity. I could see real clearly. If I take my right hand off, put my left hand on there, it's going to burn me. Now, how many times has alcohol and drugs burnt you?
Every time.
But you keep putting your hand on that hot flame. Now, people like me, when I start taking the steps, I'm able to start seeing the truth about shit. And what I can see today is drugs and alcohol. I can see it like I see a hot flame. I can see what it's going to do to me before I put it in. Now, if you could see what it's going to do to you and the end result before you put it in, would you put it in? There's no way. But see, when the obsession kicks in, all it'll let you see is, I'm fixing to get some relief. It won't let you see what's going to happen down here. Now, how many of y'all, after the consequences start hitting, that's when you say, I'll never
Do it again.
and you mean it. Now, if you could see that before you put the first one in, would you put the first one in?
No.
There's no way. Now, stay with me. Stay with me. The steps, what they produce is a spiritual awakening or a personality change. Now, my personality today is not the same personality it was 20-something years ago when I stopped using. My personality today, since it's changed, I can see the truth about the first one. See, before I couldn't see it until the consequences hit. Today I can see it before the consequences hit. So you, the personality you have at the moment, you can't see it before. You can only see it afterwards. Does that make sense? If we can get you taking the steps and start to get a rearrangement up here, you'll be able to start to see the truth before you put
First
the
one
first
in.
one in. Now, how many of y'all, the reason you run up in here is because of the consequences from these sprees? So if you can see what's going to happen before you put it in, guess what you won't face anymore? That's right. Look, everything you do or don't do in this program, it's going to hinge on how well you see what this thing's been doing to you. And it'll make somebody like me pay the ultimate sacrifice. Now, how many of y'all have been at certain times successful? How many of y'all at certain times have been relatively happy? So we know you can do some things. Now just think what you could do if this wasn't in your head. Just think. Now, what you got to figure out, I can't do it for you. You got to figure out, do you want some help? And if you do, you won't be sleeping in the damn meetings. You won't be cross-talking and shit. Look, people who want this, they follow the rules. And the reason they do that is because they want something different. Look, if you come in here and I never hear your name, and I see you 6 months from now, I'm gonna go, well, look, I'll remember your face, but I don't really remember your name. And a lot of people get offended. And I go, well, actually, that's a compliment. See, if I see you in 6 months and I go, oh, hey, girl, how's it going? And I just remember your name like that, that's why. Because I always had to talk to you. I always had to tell you don't sleep. I always had to. So if I don't remember who you are, you actually probably did pretty damn good in here. Me. Yeah. Now, if somebody has the obsession and they have the allergy, this is just yes or no. Do you know what that makes them? Just yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, what does it make them? No. That's probably not far off, but that's not what I'm looking for.
Can you repeat the question, please?
If somebody has the obsession and the allergy, do you know what that makes them? What? Powerless. Look, powerless doesn't mean you're a bad person. It doesn't mean you're a weak person. It doesn't mean none of that. It means you are powerless. So see, sitting where you sit exactly like you are today, you don't have a choice whether you're going to use or not. If you leave here today, I would bet my house you're going to use. You don't have a choice. And the reason you don't have a choice because of that. And once you start, you won't be able to control how much you're going to use because of that. So you are powerless. Now, stay with me. What's the date today?
The second.
Tomorrow, 20 years. Tomorrow, it's been 20 years since I put,
The first one in.
it's because I don't have that. It's gone. Been gone. Do I still have that? I will have that until the day I die. Now, yes or no? Would you say I'm powerless over drugs and alcohol today? What would you say? What would you say? What would you say?
Yes.
What would you say?
Yeah.
Now stay with it. What makes me powerless?
The
The
craving.
allergy and the obsession. You got to put them together to get the brew. So if I don't have the obsession, guess what I'm not? Powerless. Now, am I still alcoholic? Why?
Because
you
you
have
have
an
an
allergy.
allergy.
That's what makes me alcoholic. What makes me powerless is taking that allergy and combining it with the obsession. So if somebody doesn't have the obsession, they're not, because they've tapped into
Power.
And the power is what removes. Now, how does somebody like me tap into the power? The steps. See, a lot of people think the steps remove the obsession. They don't. The steps tap me into, which removes. Now, somebody like me, once they start to see that they have access to this new power now, guess what becomes real exciting? Because not only did this power do something for me I couldn't do for myself, it did some other shit for me I couldn't do for myself on a consistent basis, and that's be a damn son, a father, a husband, a brother, an uncle, a good employee, so I think. How many of y'all are so powerless, you can't not put the first one in you, and everything that you think is important to you, it falls by the wayside? Do you remember when you came in here and you were sitting up here and I was going, holy shit? And I asked you about them daughters. What did you tell me? That you loved them, right?
Yes.
Now, are you starting to see what?
How much I love them and miss them, and they need me.
But are you starting to see, if you love them that much, how much more you can love them? Okay. So maybe, just maybe, in your mind you love them, but your actions show something different. Look, it doesn't make you a bad person. And it doesn't make you a bad person because God doesn't make bad people. What it makes you, what it makes me, no, it's sick. Look, my crux of my problem, no medicine can fix it. Because I suffer from a spiritual disease. And if it's a spiritual disease, it takes spiritual medicine. How many of y'all in here? Y'all have tried everything under the sun to right the ship except what actually works for people like me. How many of y'all, the first time you started hearing about steps and recovery and you went, fuck that shit. Not me. Not for me. And how many of y'all have tried everything so you wouldn't have to come and do this yet? Now, before I came in and did this, I tried everything so I wouldn't have to do that shit. That's the last thing I wanted to try. And I'm telling you, I tried everything. Moving, changing friends, changing cars, jobs, relationships, my fucking drawers. I tried changing everything except
Yourself.
how many of y'all want to change everything except you? What the root of the trouble really is? Now, when I came in here and had nothing else left to try, I said, you know what? I'm going to try it. I mean, the choice was real simple. I had nothing else left to try. Now, when I actually did the last thing available to me, it turned out to be the best thing that ever happened to me. Now, Do you know what that tells me about me? No, that I don't know what the hell's good for me. How many of y'all, you're always doing what you think is good for you? And it turns out to be a disaster every damn time. Every time. So if you would start doing some things that you really don't want to do, that would be change. If you've always do what you've always done, that's not changing. No, that's called eat up with the dumbass. How many of y'all, you don't want to do the difficult things to change? Or so you think are difficult. But once you start doing them, they're not so difficult. They're actually quite easy. What you're doing is the difficult shit. Now, I've been doing this a while, but why do you two have the same hairstyle today?
Did the same person braided our hair? Yeah.
Yeah. You know, idiots attract. Do you know what idiots attract? Idiots. Now, for years, guess what I attracted?
Idiot.
You know why?
He was an idiot.
I was an idiot magnet. Now, once I decided to quit being a damn
Idiot.
guess what wanted to have nothing to do with me?
Idiots.
That's right. How many of y'all keep attracting idiots? It may be because you are
An idiot.
magnet. Y'all didn't think I noticed that, huh? If you were sitting at the table, we'd be done. Now, the solution. Who did y'all's hair? If y'all understand this right here, that this obsession is what's been getting you, and it's so powerful that only access to a power greater than you is going to solve it, then and only then do you become interested in 2 through 12. That's it. There's nobody sitting in here and nobody standing in here that's going to do this unless they see this. Because from 2 through 12, they're going to ask me to do some things that most people are not willing to do. Now, you are like me. There's 2 programs for people like me. This one, which we all have tried extensively. And there's another program. It's in step 2. Now, the solution is only as good as my understanding of the problem. Now, this program here, how many of y'all have worked it and worked it almost to perfection? Now, if you, by doing these 2 things, did some things that you don't really want to do. Have you lied, cheat, steal, rob? Some things that you really don't want to do. And you did them without any question. Why? Because that's what you wanted. If you did some things that you really don't want to do, like abandon your kids, mentally, spiritually, and emotionally. Physically, you may be there. Of course, they got to shake you a couple of times. How many of y'all, by doing this, You do things you don't want to do. Now, how many of y'all, when you first start doing those things that you don't want to do, at first, that shit mortifies you. But you get sort of used to it. And you do something else you said you'd never do. That shit mortifies you. And you do something else you said you'd never do. And that shit mortifies you. And how many of y'all just keep coming down, down, and down, and down. And it's so slow and subtle, you don't realize it. But everybody who cares about you goes, what are you doing? What in the hell is wrong with you? And you go, nothing. What's wrong with you? Now, I can show you a picture of me in the Baton Rouge Most Wanted section of the newspaper. And if you saw that picture, you would think I was raised by a bunch of heathens. And I come from a damn good family. I was taught right from wrong, and I was raised the right way. And the whole time I'm coming down, I'm going, I ain't hurting nobody. People just leave me alone. How selfish, self-centered, and inconsiderate I see that statement now. Because everybody who cared anything about me, I affected in some way, shape, form, or another. And I had the audacity to say, I ain't hurt nobody. Now, how many of y'all, you know what you've been doing is absolute nonsense? You know it. Now, how long have you been doing nonsense out there? How long?
10 years.
Has it worked? So what would make you think? What would make you think coming in here trying to do the same nonsense would work? I'd love to hear that answer. Now, I want you to, if you get nothing else out of today, I want you to listen to this. Sober, you do the same shit that you do when you're using. You manipulate. You set people up like little pawns to do what you want. Right or wrong? Why are you getting mad?
I'm not.
Yeah, but you ain't.
I'm not getting mad.
I know you're not. That's why your face is turning red.
No, you make me uncomfortable.
I can't make you uncomfortable. The truth makes you uncomfortable.
No, you just.
The truth does.
No, I'm good with the truth.
No, you're not.
I am.
Because if you were, you would do something about it. Now, I want you to listen to what I'm telling her. How many of y'all sober do the same shit?
I do.
I know. So you just getting sober really change a whole lot. Unless you start. Now, it's a good idea to be sober when you take these now, but you won't do this. Well, how many times have you had the opportunity to do this?
Couple of times.
Have you?
No.
You? How many of y'all, when y'all were in y'all's meetings and some of y'all go, oh, can you believe she's doing that? The only way I can see somebody doing something they shouldn't be doing is if I've done it and it's within me. If I spot it, I got it. Now, unbeknownst to her and her thick wisdom, she's probably helping some of y'all to realize what you don't want to be like. Now, how many of y'all, when it comes time to do this, you choose this over this. How many times have you've been given the opportunity? Huh? And which one did you choose? Yeah. Now, let's talk about the solution for a little while. Because the solution is only as good as your understanding of the problem. Now, step 2 is the solution. It says, came to believe. See, most of y'all come here, and after a couple of days, you come to, and then you come to something. Whether you're going to do this or you're not. But that little process, come to believe, what do you believe? See, what do you believe? Because what you believe is what you're going to do. See, some of y'all sitting here and believe you can sit through here for 28 days and do nothing, and shit's going to change, and that's what you're going to try to do. And shit's going to change, all right? It's going to get worse. Some of y'all come in here and believe if you don't do something, you're a goner. And that's the ones who really try to start doing something. Now, when you hear the term power greater than you, what's the first thing that comes to your mind? Okay. You? You? Okay. You? You? Look, how many of y'all, when y'all hear power greater than you, the first thing that comes to your mind is God? Now, nowhere in step 2 does it say or insinuate God. Now, every one of y'all in here are struggling with this word right here. Otherwise, you wouldn't be sitting in here. Now, some of you believe that you are a true believer, which is bullshit. You wouldn't be in here. Some of you believe God don't want to have nothing to do with you, which is just as much bullshit. But some way, shape, form, or another, you're struggling with that word. Now, do yourself a favor. Yoo-hoo! Up here. You're just trying to walk. Look up here. Do yourself a favor with that word. Take the God idea and set it to the side for a little while. Y'all been doing that already, so that wouldn't be a change. Take that word and just put you another O in there. And just start doing good. If you're supposed to make your bed, make your damn bed. If you're supposed to not talk in an AA meeting, don't talk in AA. Just start doing good. Now, some people who really knew this program and understood people like me coming in here. Because when I first came in here, I had a hard time with that shit right there. Because in my opinion, he was the reason I was sitting in here. Like I had to blame something. I couldn't blame me. Now, the fellowship in Alcoholics Anonymous. Now, this is a conservative number. Because if you've ever tried to follow up with alcoholics, it's like herding cats. It's almost impossible. So they put a conservative number on it. It's probably about 9 million, but they say 3. So nobody can say, oh, well, y'all being a little too high on your numbers. But worldwide, 3 million recovered alcoholics in the fellowship. Now, would you say those 3 million recovered alcoholics are a power together greater than you?
Yeah.
I would. What would you say? What would you say?
Yeah.
Now, do you believe us 3 million recovered alcoholics get up every morning and do this to try to fool you. See, you're not that important. We do it because it works. Now, you wouldn't know that yet. Now, the fellowship alone is not enough. If it was, anybody who's ever been to a meeting would be recovered. You been to meetings? Well, how long you been here?
Well, I mean, yes, since I come here.
So you've been to meetings.
Yes, sir.
So if that was all it took, it'd be time to go. It's more to it than that. The other part of the solution is actually doing the program of Alcoholics Anonymous. Now, unbeknownst to y'all and a lot of other people, there are 2 AAs. There's the fellowship in AA, and there's the program of AA. Now, I didn't say the fellowship around AA. I said the fellowship in AA. There's a difference. See, if you just go to meetings, you show up 5 minutes before the meeting, and as soon as it's over, you bring your happy little ass home and you don't help do nothing in the fellowship, you don't help sponsor people, support people, clean up, contribute, you're not in AA. You are around it. Now, somebody like me in AA, is that enough? Is going to the meetings enough? No. Now, the program or the steps, they're not in a meeting. They're not on that wall. The program of AA is in the big book. It's in the first 103 pages of the big book. Now, the fellowship, you got to know what it does and what it doesn't do. The fellowship won't change it. What the fellowship will do is support you long enough for you to come over here and pick up these simple kit of spiritual tools we've laid at your feet. And if you pick them up and start to take the steps, what they're going to do is change me. Now, if I put these two together, I got the right brew. And that would be, now, if you think you got the power already, would you take the steps to access it?
No.
No, listen to the question. If you come in here thinking that you already have this, would you take the steps to access it? No, because you think you're somewhere. You really not. Look, it's like this. You know where the Greyhound bus station is? Down there on Florida Boulevard? If you went to the bus station, and right in front of you they had a bus, and it was going to San Antonio, Texas, and you wanted to go to San Antonio, Texas, but you believe you was already in San Antonio, Texas, would you get on the bus?
No.
Because you believe you're somewhere?
No.
You're not. See, how many of y'all come in here and y'all believe y'all somewhere that you really not? And we got a bus that'll take you there, but you believe you already there. Would you get on the bus? No. See, how many of y'all come in here and y'all go, I love my family. Those kids you were telling me about, those kids, you love them? Huh? Well, hell, I feel like I'm a helicopter pilot. Do you? Let me put it to you this way. If me and you were sitting in my office and all your kids walked in, and I asked you in front of them, hey, do y'all love those kids? What would you say? Now, what do your actions say? You do or you don't? You do or you don't?
I don't.
I do.
Well, that's what your mouth says. But what do your actions say? Look, I want you to look at it. I want you to listen to me, okay? You cannot change anything you will not acknowledge. And I'm telling you, people who end up in here, it's not because their actions out there prove they love people. Do you even know what love is? It's not the shit y'all see on TV. What? I'm waiting. What's love?
Well, it's not about me.
Love is a genuine concern.
I should have.
Love's a genuine concern for another human being.
Yes.
Now, have you been showing those kids genuine concern?
The best way that I can.
So that's a no.
I'm
Because
not allowed.
we know you're not doing it the best way you can.
You don't know anything.
Oh, I know that. I do. I know the
What I'm
truth.
saying is, it's not a disrespect.
I don't take it that way.
I am not allowed to. I do what I can.
Well, why aren't you
Now
allowed
I'm doing
to?
more.
Why aren't you allowed to?
My father won't let me contact him.
Why?
He has no reason not to. Now he does. When he made that decision, he had no reason not to.
Well, let me tell you something, okay? Because I said the same thing about an ex-wife. But you know what I never did? You know what I never did? Because I loved them so much. I never saved my money, went and got a damn legitimate lawyer who could have allowed me to see them. You know, the truth is the truth. And it's not to try to hurt you. But again, you cannot change anything you will not acknowledge. You a true believer in God? It's yes or no? You?
Yes,
You? Yeah, that's what you say out your mouth. Well, I know that's what you say. What do your actions say? You are, you're not. What do yours say? Okay, look, that's great, but it shows that you're not. Look, again, it's not trying to make you out to be a bad person. Because God don't make bad people. But look, I can't go home at night and sleep, which I love to do, if I don't tell you the truth about yourself.
I appreciate it.
I know. She does too. That's why she calls me a no good son of a bitch every chance she gets. And that's okay. Because if I know I did everything to show another one of God's children the truth, I go home and sleep.
You remind me of my father.
I don't know how to take that now.
He's the one who put the foundation in.
Now, how many of y'all, I want y'all to listen to what I was asking her. Because she really believes what she told me. So who in their right mind, if they really believe that, would take these steps? That's what we're trying to get them. If you believe you're something and somewhere that you're really not, you're not going to take these steps. Look, one of the hardest things that I had to do, and I cried like a baby, when I finally said, you know, I don't love my kids the way I should. And I tell you what, after admitting it that time, I never did that again.
It's almost what I said first.
See, can't nobody tell me that my actions don't prove I love my family. Now, some of them in the family may disagree. Now, how many of y'all in here Y'all looking at this and you're looking at this. Now, the reason there's only these two things up here is because that is the only two choices that you have to choose from. If you're anything like me, when I ended up in here, I had lost all those other choices. How many of y'all come in here and y'all think y'all got more fucking business than the president? Oh, God, I'll get a job when I get out of here. So taking care of the kids, I get a damn phone. If you think you have all those decisions to make you've never seen, when I finally saw all those other choices meant absolutely nothing if I didn't tap into some. Because I never had a problem getting a phone. I never had a problem getting a job, a car, money. And I lost it every fucking time I got it. When somebody sees the truth, they see they're either gonna do this or they gonna do that. And if you ain't gonna do that, it means you're gonna do that. And if you're gonna do that, why are you in here? Look, how many of y'all came here because y'all went, oh shit, I'm gonna spend 28 days with KJ? None of y'all. You came here, hopefully, for that. And if you came here for that, like I tell y'all, y'all have struck the mother lode. And you probably ain't gonna like me, which is okay. She didn't. Oh, no. Now, be honest. The first day when you were in that hall, did you go, you know, that old boy ain't too bad? Or did you go, I can't stand his ass?
No.
Come on, be honest.
No,
Which one did you say?
we gonna be all right.
Well, I'm already all right, so I don't know about we. You must have a rat in your pocket. We.
No, I thought you said so.
If you are in the problem, you have one alternative, and that's to get into. Now, if somebody gives you some facts, and that's what we try to do in step one, is give you facts. In step two, we try to give you another set of facts. Look, this isn't fiction. You either got it or you don't. And if you're sitting in here, you got it. You're in the class. So it doesn't leave you but one other set of facts to start operating on. Now, can you operate on two sets of facts at the exact same time? No, unless your middle name is Houdini. You're going to operate on this set of facts or that set of facts. Now, before you came in the door, which facts were you operating on? How well is that working for you? Now, do you want something different? You have to operate on a different set of facts. Now, if you have two set of facts and you cannot operate on both of them at the same time, you have to make a decision. And that's what step 3 is about. I'm going to decide to remain here or to seek this power. Now, if you decide you don't really want to do that, what do you need to do? Yeah, you're already there. Now, if you decide you don't want to be stuck in the problem anymore, you want to get out of the problem and come over here and start living in the solution. The way you're going to carry out your step 3 decision and get out of the problem into the solution is by taking 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and we call these the action steps. We have some steps. If you take them like the book says, they're gonna do one thing and do it without fail. Who knows what that is? What does 4 through 9 do? Huh?
Gives you power.
It taps me into power. That's what 4 through 9 does. And once somebody's done 4 through 9, like the book says, they have a way to start living now. In 10, 11, and I tell people all the time, these got me out of hell, and these are making sure I get to. Because what you're living in is purity hell. And when somebody asks you how it's going, you go, fine, I'm fine. And deep down, your ass is dying. But you won't tell nobody now, will you?
Mm-mm.
Y'all turn y'all's big books. I want y'all to turn to page 45. Do you read okay? Okay.
little bit.
Why you got offended by that when I asked you that? Huh? Because you got offended. Did you not? No? No. You know, I know you told me you used to be a teacher, but that don't mean you read.
Okay.
Start reading for me. The first paragraph down, it says lack of.
Power.
Lack of power.
Oh, not you.
I'm
Go.
sorry.
In the preceding chapters, you
Uh-uh.
have learned something.
Page 45.
Oh,
Damn, I thought you could read, girl.
I can't see that, girl, that's why I don't read.
All right, go.
Oh,
Lack of power.
Lack of power, that was our dilemma. We had to find power by which we live, and it had to be a power greater than ourselves.
Now, it says lack of power. That's your dilemma. Did it say lack of a husband's your dilemma? A bank account? A car? A job? It says lack of power. Now, when somebody's facing a dilemma, it means they have 2 and only 2 unpopular choices. Now, how many of y'all want to go back out and get all the consequences that come with this? Is that unpopular?
Yeah.
Doing this shit exactly like it says, is that unpopular?
Yes.
Yes. So guess what you're facing? A damn dilemma. You have 2 unpopular choices. Now, do you know what this one will get you? Do you know? Oh, it's got you somewhere. It's got you as a patient at.
Woodlake.
Now, is that where you wanted to go with your life?
No.
So this has got you places you don't want to go. Now, do you know what this will get you?
Where I want to be.
You know that. You don't believe that, you know it. Now, if you don't want to stay here, you got to get your ass over there. Now, do you know what that can do?
You do.
Yeah, but do you know that? You don't have to. It's your lucky day. You just have to be willing to believe. Now, when you first come in here, you couldn't possibly know what that can do because you've never done it. Now, somebody like me who's recovered, do I believe that works or do I know? I know. See, that's why they let me stay here. They let me stay here because they know I'm going to give you everything necessary so you can know. And if you don't come to know, it would be your fault, not mine. See, when people succeed in here, their fault. And when people fail in here, it's their fault. We can't take credit for your success, and we sure can't take credit for your failure. Now, what I like people to say is, boy, you know, Woodlake got me on the right road. That's what I like to hear. I don't like to hear, oh, he saved my life, because it's bullshit. I don't have that power. I don't have that power. But I can get you on the road. Now, if you stay on it, that would be your fault. If you run the sumbitch in the ditch, that would be your fault. Now, what she read was lack of power. That was our dilemma. Now, it don't say you should or you could. It says you had to find a power greater than yourself. Now, how many of y'all come in here and you're in here with a bunch of humans, me, people y'all in here with? I want you to look to the left and the right of you. Do y'all see any powers greater than you in here?
No.
Do you see any powers less than you in here?
No.
I see a bunch of powers
Less.
equal to me in here. And people will not solve my problem. If people could solve my problem, my mother, who prayed over me like a goddamn Christmas turkey, I would have been saved a long time ago. Now, how many of y'all, every time you try to come up with a solution, it centers around a human being? Either you try to do it on your own, a human being. You try to move away from human beings. You try to move closer to human beings. You try to get in relationships with human beings. You try to get out of relationships with human beings. But every time you come up with a solution, it centers around a human, a power equal to you. And they will always fail. Now, it says you had to find a power greater than yourself. Now, you were a teacher, right? What kind of writing is that? Power greater than yourself. What do they call that strictly ass writing? Italicized. You know what? You know what us drunks call it? Drunk ass writing. Now, when somebody puts that kind of writing in a book, they're trying to make a damn point. It's important. And the point they're trying to make is it's going to take a power greater than yourself. Now, when somebody follows up italicized writing with a one-word sentence, they're trying to make the point of the italicized writing even more important. So this is how I sort of read it. Had to find a power greater than ourselves. And then they got a one-word sentence that says, hey, dumbass. Obviously. Now, after that statement, it says, but where and how will we define this power? Question mark. So guess what the hell they going to tell you? Where and how. Go. Read from there. Where and how. Question mark. Go. Go.
Well, that's exactly what this book is about.
Son of a bitch. Ain't that some shit? See, how many of y'all get this book and y'all think it's about alcoholism? It's not. Its main object is to enable you to what? Read it. Read it. Its main object. It's in the book.
It's the main object is to enable you to find a power greater than yourself, which will solve your problem.
Son of a bitch. Now, does it say what problem? No. Because that power can solve any problem. But the most pressing one you got is the one we're going to try to get going first. Because if you can knock this one down, it's a walk in the park. See, in 10, 15 years from now, you know what those kids will say about their mother? You get into that solution, you know what they'll say? Man, my mom was one of the strongest people I know. You know what they'll say about you? I want to see my mama. How many of y'all in here? Again, y'all come in here and y'all got more damn business than the president. When really, you ain't really got but one issue to look at. And if you don't see that, you've missed the damn boat. Now, y'all ladies in here, y'all ain't been called that in a long time, huh? Ladies? How many of y'all in here? Y'all in the same boat. And when one of y'all starts rolling against the others, y'all gotta say something. Y'all gotta say, hey, we're not doing that in here. And if they continue to do it, you gotta let us know. And I promise you. Comments? Questions? You all right?
I'm just thinking.
Oh, God. That's a scary proposition,
Yeah,
girl.
it is.
How are you?
I'm good.
You can't get these two knuckleheads to do anything?
Trying, working on it now.
Y'all get ready for lunch.
Do you know Jim Mitchell?